You're still live here on News Desk on Multi TV. Let's do some more stories. An executive director for the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, is cautioning government to do well to honor its financial obligations of the contract, as a penalty cost to the country will be too high to bear. Speaking on the sidelines of the arrival of the power barge, Dr. Amin mentioned that the arrival of the barge will not in any way solve the energy crisis.
This plant is here, but there is no guarantee that it will give us the power. Because you need to look at the track record of Car Power. You know, the Caradanis company which brought in the barge. We must be very careful, because eventually, if the plant doesn't work and the cause of it not working is not Car Power but us, then we will not have any penalty paid by Car Power. Rather, we will pay the capacity charge. If Car Power delays in supplying power, the penalty they have to pay, what they call liquidated damages, is $135,000 per day. If there is a drop in power supply by 1%, they pay $36,000 per day, per ship. Now, comparing that with Lebanon, where it failed to work, the penalty they paid for delay in supply was $270,000 per day. And for a drop in supply by 1%, they paid $50,000. And so, if Ghana understood that the risk of default is high because of the track record of the Caradanis, we should have asked for more liquidated damages in the event that they don't perform. Unfortunately, we went for the lower. And this is why I'm saying that if you look at the contract, it anticipates that the power may work, the barge may work, it may not work. Wow. But if it doesn't work, what is the cost to Ghana? The cost to Ghana is so high. And especially if we are not able to meet our obligations, we will pay them the capacity charge, they will not pay any liquidated damages. If we are not able to meet our obligations as a result of our failure to meet the financial requirement for this barge, not just for this barge, but for other barges we are bringing in, not just for other barges, but for other generating plants we have, then of course, DUMSO will continue to be with us. And also, finally, the minister is talking about ending load shedding and not DUMSO. And I have a problem with that, because DUMSO may indeed be worse than load shedding. Because with load shedding, you have a program timetable, which tells you that for this hour or for this day, you will not have power. And so you plan for alternatives. But with DUMSO, which he says he cannot resolve, you are going to have persistent outages. And if you have persistent outages, appliances are spoiled, the opportunity cost is so high for you because you haven't made alternative arrangement, and industry will continue to have difficulties. And therefore, I want government to work not just to resolve load shedding, but also to end the DUMSO. And the only way we can do that is to address the liquidity challenges facing the industry.
Well, away from that, let's do some politics. And spokesperson for suspended chairman of the opposition NPP, Nana Ose, has been suspended by the party. He's alleged to have bussed people to the party's headquarters to demand the reinstatement of Mr. Paul Afoko some weeks ago. Sampine is the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. He joins us live now over the telephone. Mr. Sampine, good morning. Thank you very much for speaking to us here on News Desk.
Yeah, good morning, my dear friend.
Now, the first question I'd like to ask, obviously, is why exactly is Nana Ose being suspended?
Yeah, if you remember, you recollect, some 3 weeks back, some constituency officers were suspended, reference to disciplinary action against them. The regional disciplinary committee submitted its report to the regional executive committee, and during the discussion, came to light that the evidence that came to the committee, some of the guys who arranged and organized the people to Accra came to mention certain names, that he is the one who called them and helped in the organization, financial and all that, for them to bus the people to Accra. And that name was the name of Nanaya Ose. The Regional Executive Committee decided to look at Article 3F1 to suspend him. And once he's a national disciplinary committee member, refer the matter to the National Disciplinary Committee to take action on that, and that's what we've done.
I see. So what would you say to those who say that, I mean, this is just a ploy to just rid the party of a focal element, or what some have described as moles in the party?
You see, it's a wrong notion when people want to tell the world that the party is ridding people of because they support this person or that person. What we are looking at is that the accusation of misconduct, is it a fact or not? If these people are found to have misconducted themselves and they are punished, what is the crime committed by the party then? So if some people come to make these allegations, and as I speak with you, all these people have been suspended, and all of them admitted that they committed that offense and that was misconduct, that definitely we need to take action. So once the matter is referred to the National Disciplinary Committee, when they come up with their findings and they think that yes, what the people said is the truth and all that, they feel is complicit in whatever that went on, that would be a business for the National Disciplinary Committee and the National Executive Committee to decide. But it's a erroneous impression when people want to say that because of a certain person or certain persons, people are being persecuted.
I see. So let me ask whether or not Nana Osei has officially been communicated to by the party.
Yeah, we communicated to them, all those involved. We send letters to them, but as you received it or not, I cannot confirm.
If you say you communicated to them, how do you mean? How did you communicate to them?
We wrote written letters and we send them through our dispatches at the party office.
I see. So to the best of your knowledge, you have communicated to him, but as to whether or not he's received this communication,
another matter altogether.
Interesting. So you haven't, I assume then that you haven't gotten any response from him.
I don't need any response from him. Once he says, if he wishes, you can send a response to us. If he doesn't, and the committee calls him, you can go there and tell the committee whether he received it or not, and that he's satisfied or dissatisfied with whatever. There are a lot of procedures for him to go through. So the business of the Regional Executive Committee is to take this action, and this action that will be taken.
I see. Right. Finally, before you go, now you have suspended Nana Osei and a few others. What exactly does it mean for them? Once they are suspended, what is it that they cannot do in the party?
They cannot function as party members. For example, if you're supposed to communicate for the party on your show, he cannot do that. He cannot act for the party in any way whatsoever.
So he cannot hold himself as a party member?
Yeah, when you are suspended membership of the party, you cannot hold yourself as a party member so that membership, that suspension is reversed. And that you cannot do official duties of the party. If there's a rally and because you're a party member or because you're a sympathizer, you want to be there, nobody has any business with you, but stand on the platform and speak as if for the party and do things that are for the party. When you have to do those things.
Right. And his suspension, are there any timelines to when he's likely to return to the party?
The reference is to the National Disciplinary Committee. So when they sit and when they receive the petition, the National Disciplinary Committee, they have 21 days to work with him. And when they finish with their work, NEC also has about 14 days to work with him. So within this time, until the outcome and the recommendations and the decision of the appropriate committee, the person will be on suspension. Right.
So Sampine, many thanks for your time on News Desk here on Joy News Multi TV. And Sampine is the regional secretary, Ashanti regional secretary of the New Patriotic Party. And we were able to speak to Nana Osei, but he tells us that while he is rather getting ready to release a press statement, as and when we do have it, we'll bring it to you live here on Joy News Multi TV. But away from that, Chairman of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, is challenging the media to be circumspect in reporting the stories by acting as linguists. Now, he said this was necessary for peace to prevail during and after next year's general elections.
I wish that the media in this country would play the role of a traditional linguist. What do I mean by the traditional linguist? The traditional linguist does his work in such a way that even when somebody has said something that is untoward, he doesn't repeat that sort of thing. I have heard all sorts of things. People have said nasty things, and the media has even urged them on. by the sort of questions that are thrown for them to continue to create, confusion, to create the condition for the possibility of conflict in the nation.
Well, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante also called for an end to political vigilante groups in the country, saying that their activities have the potential to mar the peace the country is currently enjoying.
Why do we need vigilante groups in our politics? It simply tells us that we have not understood what political activities are all about. Because if you have understood what political activities are all about, you don't need vigilante groups who will go around harassing your opponents. We should learn to live and let others live. Let me use this opportunity to say that what happened at the New Patriotic Party's office recently is condemnable. It is something that should not be countenanced in a country like ours. No matter what, if it's an internal thing, it is still worse. But if it came from outside, that some people did that, it's condemnable. We're living in a civilized country, and we need politics of civility, not barbaric politics in our country.
Well, time now for some business here on News Desk after these messages.